how did you sustain this niche as we were going through this unknown time?
Well, I think that's where building a relationship with people, that's when it pays off. I didn't know that's what I was going to need when the pandemic came and people were doing virtual races. That became a big thing. Every company was like, "Hey, do this thing, we'll send you a medal." And I created this virtual ultra marathon, which means you run a lot of miles. So we were going to do 5 mile loops, and we checked in with Zoom. So there were literally like 300 of us on this giant Zoom, and that hadn't been really done yet. But because I had spent the last 7 years building this relationship, allowed me to, like, I couldn't have probably done that in the first couple of years, but it was like, hey, Matt's doing this thing, Orem is doing this thing. And so once it got started, it worked out really well. And so then we did a second one that was almost as big. And then we tried 2 more that were much smaller, but people kept asking, like, oh, you got to do it again. I'm like, I don't think it's that successful, but sure, we'll try it. But again, if you build up, if we want to use a term called equity, right, with your consumer base, like then you can cash in those chips eventually and say, hey, like now I'm asking you to support me. Like here's all this free content over all these years, and now I'm asking you to support me in this way. The same thing goes for the Patreon stuff, which we could probably talk about. They got something out of the race, like they got to do the race and they got to be a part of this cool thing, and it was fun and it was great. But again, it's not like I'm a genius. Oh wow, this is gonna be amazing. It's like I tried it and then it turned out, boom, it was a home run.